Woo! Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, everywhere. This is going to have a live spot in it. You know, somewhere out there, YouTube, Instagram. You never know where it all is going to show up. So, how are y'all doing out there? I've got two recording devices right here that I'm going to be setting up here live shortly. So, hopefully, y'all can handle that. All right, let's see what we're doing here. We don't even know what we're doing here. Sometimes we think we do, but sometimes it just doesn't work out the way we want things to. But there we go. There's a little bit of that coming this way. Yeah, bring it that way. Pull that way. There we go. That's better. Welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. Hopefully, you're all doing great out there. Hopefully, you had a great Thanksgiving out there. Hopefully, you gave thanks for a lot of things, even if it was just the smallest of things. Good morning, Mr. Casey. You got your coffee in hand? Yes, I've got a level, an L, a rafter angle square in my hand. Why, you ask? Because I use this to draw with as well. It butts right up against the side of my paper, and I can do straight lines for all of my panel pages. Oh, yeah. Can you smell that? Oh, yeah. All right. You know, I do have two recording devices here, and it is for a reason. We are just past the witching hour, obviously, because that witching hour falls between that 2 to 4 time frame. Here it is, 4:14 in the morning, and you know, I've got a recording going on in the front room because last night, Phoenix, our rescue dog, kept just blatantly staring into the kitchen, and I do too. It's Roy, and he's not here yet, and I told him this would happen. This is Roy's favorite team, Oklahoma Sooners, and mine as well, and Frankenstein's as well. That's why it's together. Yes, two red color combinations. People don't like that, but I do. I don't care. This is my damn show, and we'll talk about all kinds of things here in just a minute. Um, but she was blatantly staring off into the kitchen area while we were watching. Well, the girlfriend was playing a forensic crime scene game last night, and like crime scene cleanup or something like that. And Phoenix, again, our rescue dog, she kept blatantly staring off into the kitchen area, and then she would just growl. And but she would perk up to that area several times. Now we do have a little rescue kitten as well, who we were hoping would have a home by now, but he has not found a home yet. Um, is around and he's moving around on a regular basis, but he wasn't in the kitchen this time because I checked because I had to go in there just to see if he was in the cabinets or anything like that. But he wasn't, or not that I saw anyway. But where she was looking, it wasn't down; it was straight ahead. Her eyes weren't focused down either, so everything was straight ahead. And that's her eye level is, say, a kid's level, if you will. And so after we decided we go to bed, which was probably closer to 9 o'clock or so last night, which is late for us, but the girlfriend has a 3 day weekend, because she got Thanksgiving off, and then of course Friday, Saturday, and that's her 3 day weekend. So she goes back to work tomorrow. And so we set up the video camera, which is recording right now. I thought I hit record last night on it, but I did not. So this is blank, my 64. So I'm using my 32 right now because I thought I had recording, but I hit the wrong button. Of course I did. And so I got no recordings from the time we went to bed, although I did see orbs passing in the screen, those type of things. So it is recording, and it has been recording since the witching hour, the time when spirits are more active to reach out to you. So, so yeah. So we hopefully we'll get some good recordings from that whenever I come through and you know pull the video off. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to have the orbs, like I said, I always get orbs, but I'm waiting to get some cool stuff, that shadow figure or something moving or even the cat ball going off. Because yes, the cat ball is still set up in there. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to turn this on once I figure out where that is. I haven't used this one. There it is. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is start just a recording on this one. Please wait. I don't want to wait. I hit record. You start recording. There we go. Okay. So, she is now recording. Um, Looks like we can record for 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 22 seconds with the SD card that I'm assuming is in here. If there's an SD card in here. Here we go. This gives me more information on the back if you read. But this is my technically first time using this recorder. It is the new one that came with our spirit kit, our ghost hunting kit. So this one is recording right now, as you can possibly, well, maybe not. Oh, it just went blank. Well, it was showing you that it was recording. So it is recording. I see the red light in here, or on this side right here. I don't think you guys can see that. There it is. All right, so this one is recording. I'm setting this one down right here. I'm going to face it back that way. And then I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to take these off. I can't hear myself. I can't hear myself. But we're going to start a spirit recording on this one, which is already started as soon as I turn it on. Right there. And I'm going to set this one in the back of the room. So, yes, you get to see my foot paint. All right. So, this one is set up in the back of the room, in the back corner. Right there. And why am I doing that, you ask? Because this is the room that we get most of our EVPs from whenever we do get recordings and things like that from our whenever I do a recording. And I've recorded the whole house, and this seems to be the room where we get most of our EVPs. Now, the back bedroom where the smaller pig sleeps, we usually get some, disembodied voices over there. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what we pick up because I'm just going to let these run until the end of the show. So there will be gaps in there when I'm not saying anything because I'm listening to you guys talk. But we do have two recorders going in the room right now, hoping to catch any EVPs, which is electronic voice phenomenon. For those of you that don't know, that aren't into the supernatural stuff. My house is haunted. All right, so today's title, and welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, The Art of Monty Anderson, and welcome to the broadcast booth because we got a cool stuff. Hopefully, y'all had a great Thanksgiving. If you didn't, I'm sorry. Hopefully, your turkey wasn't too dry and your ham wasn't too hammy. So, with that being said, today's title of the show is Do you ever just get tired? Do you ever just get tired? I mean, just like tired of a lot of things. And apparently, this is somebody's list of basketball players. But cool. Did you watch? That's awesome. He's got a list of basketball players out there of his top, what was that, 10 or 15, possibly? I know it shows 11 right there, but you could have had more. So, agree or nay? Eh, I mean, from what I saw on your list, I can agree with that. LeBron's still a little bit high for me, but just because he's a big ass whiny baby. But you know, big flopper is what he is. Kind of like the big bopper that we used to have back in the day. I know Casey will remember the big bopper, but awesome. I am Cherokee, but we aren't labeled as Cherokee. We're labeled as Black Dutch, which was a part of the Cherokee tribe until they wouldn't sign on the dotted line. And at that point in time, they moved them to a different area. And I'm from Oklahoma, so uh, pretty close, pretty close. But it's part of the Cherokee Nation tribe because my great grandfather didn't want to put his signature on what he considered the cattle list or his ex, that type of thing. So they were like, "We're pushing you over here. We're disowning you from the Cherokee Nation, and you are now, you know, uh, okay, cool." My ex-wife's family was from the Medill area. My family basically originated from Watauga, Oklahoma, and um, we were all over Oklahoma, everywhere. I mean, even my parents live in Hugo right now, but we lived in Oklahoma City, War Acres, Bethany, and then I moved to like Noble and Shawnee out there, and then I unfortunately got married and moved over here to Fort Smith, Arkansas area. I have not. I have seen Bigfoot. I have seen UFOs, and like I said, I live in a haunted house, so I see the paranormal on a regular basis. I mean, I have poltergeist movement. In fact, I had a poltergeist moment just the other day when this little guy, Mr. Batman, hit the floor, and he shouldn't because he's farther on this shelf that I just put in here, and he was on the floor standing up, which wouldn't technically happen. He would be laid down and things of that nature. So, and my chair can't knock him off and things of that nature. So, another paranormal moment. And if you were here the other day before Thanksgiving's live, not this painting that's right here, which is a Beetlegeist, Beetlejuice right here, which was the Dexter painting that I had up here. Boink! Went off, and the ghost didn't like him up there, so they pushed him on off. So, and that shouldn't happen because that's a pretty solid thing. I've got a fan going on a regular basis, and that should. Oh, no, 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 definitely no insult because there are a ton of dark places there. Yes, and Casey and Roy, who isn't here right now, and I knew he wouldn't be, um, because he stayed up all night. Uh, saw a mist go in front of me and my setup right here. I didn't see it, and I actually went back and tried to find it, but it wasn't there. Um, so, but yeah, no, no, no. Oklahoma is one of the darkest places because of its history. Um, of course, with the indigenous people of the area and all the Trail of Tears and all that stuff that has gone through Oklahoma. And and yes, the history is just dark. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And that's my stomping grounds. I grew up there. I lived there until 2010. Like I said, whenever I was stupid enough to get married a second time, and then I moved over here to Fort Smith area, which isn't too far. It's about 2.5 hour drive from where I was living in Shawnee, Oklahoma. So, but yeah, you can find a dark story or folklore or anything like that all over the place in Oklahoma, and it's just like any other state. Um, you've got your dark history, especially in haunted buildings and things like that. Um, and I love the paranormal. I love the dark. That's why I paint some of the stuff I paint. You know, so did natives come here from Asia through the ice bridge? I always wondered that. Well, when they say when everything was formed together and then it broke apart, that people were crossing different places, prior to all the continents breaking apart, and becoming their own spaces. Um, so, you know, I wasn't there, and they're uncovering stuff all the time. I don't know if you've seen. I can't remember what country it's in, but where they supposedly Yeah, where they supposedly uncovered the dragon skull in the pit. This round, nice pit. You get down there, and there's this thing that looks like a dragon's head. Um, one of the um supposedly mythological creatures that they talk about in the Bible all the time. And this would, if it is true, um, would be the first dragon skull ever dug up. And then the other thing that perplexes a lot of people is why don't they talk about dinosaurs in the Bible? And this is why we don't talk about religion or politics. You know, just because. Uh, Once we start talking about those two subjects, people start losing their damn minds. And that's why we talk about horror movies, sci-fi movies, history, um, uh, comic books, comic book artwork, my comic books, my comic book artwork, like the stuff here. You want to see a kind of a dragon? There you go. I'm getting ready to start coloring this one up so I can get it off my plate and in his hands, my commissioner's hands, who commissioned this as a piece of artwork. And so there you go. That's just one of. I've got another one right behind that one, and that is a mashup between. Well, I appreciate that. This is a mashup of two God of War characters that are non player characters in PCs. Um, that is a Dreki and a Wolver mashed together from the God of War video game series. And I get that. That's why, whenever I do tell people, I was a pastor for a year. Um, and through the Nazarene Church in Shawnee, Oklahoma. And um I tell people, keep all your options open. You know, you can believe what you want to believe, and um, you're going to have people that don't believe at all. You know, and then you're going to have those that are super believing and just blindly follow everything that is handed to them. Just keep your options open. That's why I have so many different books on religion in my library. Um, the Game of Thrones series, what I watched was good. I haven't watched it all. I actually went back to House of Dragon first and started watching that because I'd watched some episodes of Game of Thrones, and I thought it was good. They could have kept the incest and crap out of there, for the most part. But I get it. I understand. I mean, they say that about different parts of Alabama and things like that. Um, just kidding. Sorry, Alabamans. And sorry for the ass whooping that OU gave you guys too. Not really, but that was a good win. Because everybody's like, well, OU doesn't play anybody. Oh well, really? I thought Alabama was a top contender for the college football playoffs. Yes, unfortunately, it does happen. But I started watching House of Dragons. After I saw a few, probably about 5, 10 episodes of Game of Thrones, and I haven't really got back into it because I throw TV on. I've got a TV over here while I'm doing artwork over here. So I usually put on something that I know I could quote you, like A Nightmare on Elm Street or Predator or Commando or all those old '80s movies. Because I'm an old dude, and so with that, I'll just throw it on. So if I throw something on that I haven't seen before, then I'm doing more of this number than I am of this number, you know? And what up, man? And so, um, is Stranger Things a little too hip hop? No, I love Stranger Things. And as a matter of fact, bum, 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 where is my. Hold on. Ah, it's right here. Give me just a second. Whoa. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so let me find them in here. They're in here somewhere. I think this is where I put them. Yeah, right here. Dun, 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 dun. Shocked and amazed. Right off the bat. Right off the bat. Look at you guys. Let me put my ears back on. Now I'm Mickey. All right, so you want to talk about dun, 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 Stranger Things. These are cards that I drew. I haven't seen season 5 yet. I don't even think I've seen season 4 yet either. But I kind of stopped watching it. I loved the show, so much that whenever I was offered the opportunity to work on some cards, I did. That's Hopper, obviously. Here's 11. This is off the first season, obviously. Whenever she was putting on the blonde wig, when she had her hair all nice and short, you know. Sorry, guys, up here. I've got 2 cameras going that I've got to show. These are for sale, by the way. He's all crying and stuff because he knows he's about to be in the reverse world. And then one of my favorites right here, the Demogorgon, which was in the Macy's Day Parade, if you didn't see that, on Thanksgiving Day. But yes, these are official licensed cards, as it shows right there, by Topps Corporation. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've got all kinds of signed stuff. This is just part of the cards that I've worked on over the years. I don't know if you know who Don is, but Joseph Michael Linsner's Dawn 30th anniversary. I did a set of those for them. How about The Walking Dead? Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. AMC's The Walking Dead. And these had to be approved by not only AMC themselves, but they had to be approved by the actors as well. The actors got to look over the cards. You know, they sent them emails and stuff like that of the cards. And this is the only guy that has promoted. This is Joshua Hooves, I believe is what his name is. He actually promoted this on his Instagram page and his website. And he's a pretty cool dude. He's not as big as this anymore. He was Fat Joey on the show, um, season 2, I think it was. Whenever Daryl Dixon is held by Negan, you know, all that good stuff. But I've done several card sets for um, The Walking Dead, and then Chaos Comics and a bunch of others, Fallout, all kinds of different companies that I've worked for, but through Tops. What's your Hey Casey, you want to take that one? I hate it. Um, and here's the reason why. Chat GPT and AI are good for certain things, okay? But when it comes down to someone considering themselves a writer, a musician, or an artist by using those 2 items, they're not. You're letting a program create for you. Me, everything I do is by hand. You know, yes, I will take certain things, not these, obviously, right here. And here's the other one that was hidden behind that one. This is a uh, Kingdom Hearts and Blade Runner mashup right here that will be colored by me by hand. Now, do I use Adobe products? Yes, I do. But what year do I use? I use CS4, which does not have all the AI stuff in it like it does now, you know. And so yes, I use Adobe just like for this piece right here. This is a comic cover for Condry, Man's Best Friend. And did I go into Adobe and colorize it? Yes, I did because that's the color. black and white with a pop of red, which is right on his nose. Excuse me, you can see that red right there on his nose. So this is the inked version from the pencils, and then this is the colorized version thereof. Now, the other one is right here, inked version versus taking it through Adobe Photoshop. The old Adobe Photoshop, again, not the new stuff that's on the cloud. That is AI, that does have AI filters in it. And there's so many people that want to claim to be an artist. Oh my freaking God. Here we are, restricted again for something that I'm not even telling anybody to go outside of and do anything. Um, you say, I don't even know what the fuck I said this time. You guys can kiss my ass. I mean, that's how I feel about fucking TikTok right now. Sorry for all that. No, it's not you. It's TikTok. I didn't say anything that would get me restricted. You know, other than AI sucks, and um, and I don't use it. I get restrictions all the time. Don't worry about it. I appeal them. I usually get it, overturned. But this one's probably going to be like, no, you told people to do this or whatever. Just like the last time I got a restriction, I supposedly cannot sell stuff outside of the TikTok shop. My own works, like this piece right here. This is one of my pieces of artwork, and I cannot tell you to go somewhere to pick up this piece of artwork. But if you DM me, I've got all kinds of stuff. And since day one, since I have been on, this platform, this is the stuff I talk about. Come get this stuff. You know, this is all of my stuff. Yes, I have T-shirts. Yes, I have the originals of some of this stuff. You know, Ivan Moody, Five Finger Death Punch, the one I'm wearing now, only in maroon. Howard the Duck, based off of Jack Kirby. Dexter, Art the Clown, The Crow, Linda Carter as Wonder Woman, my Naughty Nun series, Bad Habits, Jeepers Creepers, Inosuke, Mitsuri, Bishop of the X-Men, Gambit of the X-Men, Doctor Doom, not of the X-Men, and last but not least, my Alice in Wonderland piece with the Mad Hatter behind it. So he asked, can you, let me read this. Sorry. Can you do computer animation work? It's a dream of mine to make an animated movie studio. Um, I haven't done that in a while, and I have done a little bit of that, especially through Adobe because Adobe has some great. I'm trying to get my computer, my phone to set back up. Adobe does have some killer programs in there, but there's a lot better ones out there for animation stuff. And appeal, not approved. Yeah, screw you guys. Um, not literally, but okay, yes, literally, with a crystal right up your bum hole. But anyway, um, I kept it nice, Casey. I kept it nice. I didn't go off the handle. I better take some more meds for that, though. But anyway, no. There's a lot of good programs out there for animation, and you just got to find the right one that's going to work for you. Because again, there are a lot of them that use the AI stuff. Just like whenever you're doing 3D printed stuff, you know, um, there's a lot of AI created 3D print material out there. And it has to be labeled as AI generated, you know. And yes, I've got two 3D printers at the back of the room. Haven't ran them in months. Uh, yeah, that's like me. I only know the basic stuff when it comes to 3D printing. find the file, upload the file to my thumb drive, input, print out, done. I am in the process of teaching myself how to create 3D models. This isn't one of mine. This is one that I found on the internet. And there's a lot of free places that you can find free 3D STL files, you know. And I'm into aliens and stuff like that. So aliens, Bigfoots, Marvel characters, things of that nature. So that's what I print out the most of. Does it always work out the best? No. See, he lost an arm. You know, whereas this guy has this arm. You know, all that goody good stuff. But so the prints don't always come out 100%. You but I'm still learning when it comes to all that. Do I want to get a different printer? Of course I do. I want one with the filament. This is the resin printer. So I want the filament printer as well. So that way I've got both of them running. Yes, actually I've got some running around here somewhere. I don't know where it is right now, but I've got uh, some hangers for my records. That once I build my walls the way I want to, we're gonna have a record wall, of all these cool records to hang up. But yes, I've done some hooks, hang hook wall hooks, that you can hang stuff off of. I've done the tag or not the tags, the hangers for records. They're little corner plates for your records. What else have I printed? I've printed quite a bit of stuff. Some of it turns out, some of it doesn't. Just like this arm didn't turn out over here, but everything else did. For this Wolverine. So I've got to reprint this arm, that hangs down here, and then paint it all up. Freddy Krueger over here, another fabulous little print right here. The glove is separate, but it is glued on now. So, and I will get him painted up as well. But no, I print all kinds of stuff. But I also want to get into the realm of, the filament printing, where it can do several different colors at the same time. How's the integrity? The integrity is really good. I mean, it's very solid. Now this is completely solid. Now there's several of them that I do. I hollow them out and then put a pinhole in it so it drains out the resin. Um, Now if you don't have an air hole, it will screw up on the resin printing. Just because it will get like my girlfriend's got a Pickles cage in her car. It's a pickle with Nicolas Cage's head on it. And speaking of resin, just kidding. Um, and and uh, he gets too hot in the car because he doesn't have an air hole. So he's been painted up, and you can see it separating, from the different layers. It hasn't fallen apart, but you can see the separation in the paint. So, that's something that needs to be corrected on my end is when I hollow them out to make sure that there is an air hole, where the resin can drain out. And that way, when it is in the car, it doesn't get too hot and split like it has done so far. I mean, it still looks cool, but oh no, this is just my drawing glove. This keeps me from smudging any ink or pencil across my paper. So there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong here. Evil Dead moment there. No, I just do this because usually I am usually have a pencil in my hand as well. Well, that does happen because we didn't have these gloves when we were kids. I don't know how old you are or anything like that. And I'm not asking you to tell me that, but I'm 54 years old, and you know the kids I was in school with used to eat Elmer's glue, but that's a different story. Um, and I'm wondering how some of them are functional today, but I'm exactly half your age. Well, there you go. See? There you go. Must be nice being in your 20s. Casey here has me by just a couple years. Not many, but he's probably closer to my age than most people watching the show right now. So, but yeah. So today's title was about, do you ever just get tired? Tired of things that happen. It's actually been quite difficult looking forward to my 30s are easy. A lot of people, especially in their 20s, hate being in their 30s. But then once they hit their 30s, they're like, oh, this ain't so bad. And then once you hit over half a century years old, it's just like, oh, let's go for another 50. Come on, let's do this. Come on. Come on, man. Let's do this. And yeah. Now, life is what you make it. You know, you can either. I saw another creator earlier today because I've been up since 2 a.m. That's just me. And they were talking about, you view the world through the lens that you create, you know. And it's like, are you going to view the world through a lens of negativity all the time, of disgust, of hatred, of this, that, or the other? Or are you going to view the world through a positive spin on things, you know? And that puts a lot of things into perspective. How do we see the world, you know? And how we see the world is usually what we're reflecting back most of the time. I finally became secure and don't seek validation or acceptance from people who don't matter. Haha. No, and that's how you should be. Because most of the time, the only people that we need to be accepted by is ourselves. If we can't live with ourselves, something's wrong. If we're so horrible or so negative all the time and we can't even live with ourselves, that's there is where the problem lies. So many people don't see a problem with what they do, especially towards other people, you know, that and they're fine with that. And but other people can see what that person is doing. It's just like in my second marriage. Um, Other people could see what was going on. I couldn't. I mean, I saw it a little bit, but I didn't see it as deep as what they were um, seeing it as. And so finally, I opened my eyes to it all. I'm not saying I was a saint in my second marriage by any stretch of the imagination, but I wasn't treating the relationship the way the ex was treating me, my ex wife. And so I got out of it. You know, have I been happier? Yeah, for 90% of the time, but you're always going to have that little bit of negativity in there because of bills or debt or you know something's not working out the way you want it to. So you know you have to be the only validation for yourself. If you pass the validation test on yourself and you're cool with it, then who cares what other people think? Yeah, if people cross the line, you draw in the sand with no remorse. They ain't it. Exactly. You know, and I've lost a lot of friends that, well, back up. I've lost a lot of acquaintances uh, in two different marriages because they side with the ex-wife in both of them. You know, and all those that are like, oh, we'll be there. No matter what, we'll still pick up your artwork. We'll still do this. We'll still. Where are they? They're nowhere to be found. I run into them periodically at stores and things like that, and they're like, "Oh, hey, good to see you." Well, then why haven't you reached out to me before? You're just trying to say niceties right now, to save face. And I could name a ton of people, you know, that fall under that category, but I'm not going to do that because it is what it is, you know. And but so many people harbor that resentment, that anger, and what good is that doing you? You know, cut them off, forgive them. If they don't forgive you, that's on them. That's their burden to carry through the rest of their life, you know? And if they never make it right for you, then so be it, you know? I can't control what anybody else does. I can control what I do. And that's where I try to live on a daily basis. You know, try not to make stupid mistakes on a daily basis. Do I? Of course I do. I'm me. If I didn't make a stupid mistake, I wouldn't be me. You know, like falling off a ladder or trying to cut a finger off with some kind of a power tool outside, or excuse me, while I'm working on the chicken coop. I homestead as well. So, did it help you find people that were actually meant? Of course, like Casey on here. You know, um, we met through him coming on my live show and him liking the content that I put out. Now, not everybody sticks around. You know, ever since this whole algorithm change or whatever, you know, my numbers have dropped off. Absolutely. Because on some of my lives, whenever I first started, I was getting anywhere between 3 and 4,000 views while I was on live. You know, now I'm getting anywhere between 3 to 500. You know, by the time the show ends, because people stop on, watch for a little bit, and then they jump off because they're like, this guy's boring," you know, or whatever. Um, did Meta buy? I don't know if Meta bought TikTok or not. There's a whole bunch of stuff out there about it all. I haven't read it all. And I see little bits and clips and stuff like that. You know, so that's something that someone out there can do some research on if they want. I'm not really worried about if they did or not. I just know that the payout's super low on my end, even though I post stuff semi regularly. I don't post it on a daily basis like everybody's. You should be posting every day, and all that good stuff. It's just like, I got other stuff to do. Yeah, I'm posting as I can, and like some things I can't completely show 100%. Like this 8-page comic book that I'm working on for Legacy Comics out there, and um, I can't completely show that, but I did show a page the other day. I think it was the Thanksgiving Day show. Yeah, I showed a page then because Patrick Hickey Jr. out there, he is the owner of Legacy Comics, and he's a voice actor just like me. He's more famous than I am when it comes to voice acting, but um, he has got this comic book going on called Condry, and what I'm working on is man's best friend, Condry, man's best friend, and he's been showing little snippets of each page as I send them to him. So through his site, through his Instagram, through his Facebook, all that good stuff. So, would you ever try to make social media a living if you could, or do you use it differently? Well, I mean, I tried to make it as a living with it, just a little bit here and there, but apparently I'm not as popular as some of the women that are half clothed out there, you know. And I hate to say that, but sex sells, you know. And the closest I've got to that is this one right here. And I seem to get a little more viewership whenever I have this shirt on. Once I find it. I mean, I flipped through it already, but it's right here. My Naughty Nun series. Yes, only artist. But yeah, this one I usually get a little bit more viewership whenever I'm wearing this shirt right there. And, it is part of my Naughty Nun series. I've got 3 paintings in that series. They all glow under black light. Just like Mr. Beetlejuice back here with his counterpart that goes right with it. Bum, bum, bum. Right there. Mr. Michael Keaton right there as the infamous Batman. And it glows under black light as well. That's why I need to get my black light set up in here so that I can display what they look like under black light as well. Well, it's just that, people want to see that cleavage out there, you know. I mean, you do have the popular males out there as well. Um, no, I like Christian Bale's portrayal. Michael Keaton, of course, was the first Batman. As far as correction, let me back that up. On my back wall back here, I've got Adam West autograph, which is sitting right over here. Let's see if I can get it right there. Boom, right there, right above the Patrick Nagel, right there. Dun, dun, dun. On the March 11th, 1966 Life cover, right there. And but before him, before Adam West, there is the 1930 serials that they put in the movies that were before and after the main feature of a movie. And several things did that, like Flash Gordon. We talked about these. They had some westerns that were done that way, and things of that nature. So before Adam West, there was the 1930s versions and 1940s. I think it was 39 and 45. I think is the years that they did those on the serial of the big screen back in the day. And then Adam West came on the scene in '66 with the Batman TV show, and then it just went from there because you had, of course, the 1989 Batman, Michael Keaton, right down there, and then you had, the list goes on and on. Um, uh, Christian Bale, great portrayal in those three movies. Even Pattison, uh, portrayal of Batman in year one, basically his first year as Batman. Now we're switching over from Batman to Spider Man. Um, geez, they all have their own niche in there when it comes to how they portrayed the Spider Man role. Toby, of course, he's obvious. They said he's coming back in the basically the Secret Wars uh, movie. Um, Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield. Tom Holland is one of the better roles in there, as far as the new series, Far From Home and all that stuff. And then, of course, Andrew had his little niche in those movies there as well. So, they all did a great portrayal of Spider-Man. Uh, but as quirky and fun, you know, Tom Holland, one of the better ones when it comes to it, because that's Spider-Man in a nutshell. If you read any of the old comic books out there for Spider-Man, you know uh, that it was always quirky. It was always he's always had a quip. He always had something, and that's what they portrayed with you know Tom there. And Andrew Garfield on his portrayal, he did a great job. He was just more serious about the role than he should have been. You know, yes, there was a lot of seriousness in the Spider-Man stuff. You know, yes, absolutely. His is the most comic accurate, absolutely. And I mean, Toby, he was good. For the movies that they made for him, and yeah, again, he was a little bit on that serious side with the role. And he tried to make it fun. You could tell, learning the ropes, learning how to use his powers and all that good stuff. So Sam Raimi is just one of those movie gods out there. You can't go wrong with a Sam Raimi flick at any stretch of the imagination. You know, and yeah, no, it's just crazy. The movies that he's made that have stood the test of time, that even beat out a lot of the stuff that's created today. And just because he does have that way about his movies, you know, I think it's okay. I don't mind it that much because the Marvel continuity universe, or cinematic universe, however you want to put it, they have outpaced the superhero genre. Yeah, they've got some not so good movies out there when it comes down to it. But the TV shows like on Netflix that Netflix had, from Daredevil, Defenders, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, phenomenal, and Punisher, phenomenal movies. I'm glad they moved them over to the Disney Plus side and continued some of them on. They all need to continue on. Eternals, not a great movie all the way around. I mean, it was a great movie, but it was just one of those filler movies um, that they could have done without. Yeah, they had a great cast of characters, but in reality, does it enhance the MCU? Not really. It's just a filler movie in the whole list of things. Shang Chi, it is a filler movie at best. To draw in your other characters from, Doctor Strange's world and things of that nature. Um, let's see, what's another filler movie out there? I mean, there's a couple more, and I can't think of them right now. But some of the greats, Thunderbolts, great movie. I haven't seen it yet, but everything I've seen about it and the clips I've seen, awesome stuff. Um, you know, I'm not a big Captain America fan, but the movies have been decent. You know, uh, and there's several that I got to catch up on. I still haven't even seen the Punisher series from Netflix. Yeah, the Doomsday one's going to be good, but and I'm Robert Downey Jr. does a great job in whatever movie he's in. So you know, um, so he's going to do a great killer job with Doctor Doom. But on the same token, is why did we have to kill him off as Tony Stark to bring him back as Doctor Doom? You know. And if you want some really old stuff, go back into the '80s whenever they tried to do the Fantastic Four movie back then. Uh, it was one of the worst. Captain America TV series was kind of, or TV movie was bad because they had a whole rubber head, and when he's running, you can see the ears moving, things like that. Oppenheimer was pretty good. The whole movie was basically one giant edging. Oh Lord, we're not going to talk about that either. Some people don't know what that means. And like I said, I do have a homestead here, so right now my pepper plants are inside, so I get to pull stuff like this. My shishoto mushroom, my mushroom, not shishoto peppers right here. That's two of them. I think this is just your standard habanero, but I could be wrong. This might be a serrano. And then a reaper right here. No, I'm not going to eat them on live television. Right there. Let's see. High heat tolerance. Yes, I grow some hot peppers. I didn't get to pull one of my reapers originally because my chickens got to them and ate them because they have a high heat tolerance. They don't register heat, so that's why you can put chili peppers, uh, ground cayenne pepper, all that good stuff, pepper flakes in their food, and it not bother them at all. Uh, and it also kills any parasites that's in their body, worms and things like that. So, but yeah, that's a nice little fact about birds as far as chickens go. They can tolerate a ghost pepper or a reaper or Trinidad scorpion, those type things. And that is why sometimes I don't get my harvest because the chickens find them. I have a in-ground garden in one section of the yard that's separate from everybody else, but they still tend to get over there. So, love mixing heat with fruit. Like, oh yeah, absolutely. And I love the hot ice cream. You know, um, and a lot of people are like, "What?" And I even want to go to Russia. They've got the world's hottest ice cream there. It comes out this red that's like this, and you have to literally sign a waiver to get this ice cream. Uh, and I want to try it. Crazy, yes, I know. Um, I still have my gallbladder, so I'm good. Yes, V8 energy drink, fruits, vegetables, peach mango, by the way. Oh, speaking of, this is a Campbell's product, but it does not have bioengineered on here anywhere. Just like the CEO was hot mic'd with, well, we produce bioengineered for poor people, you know? And, oh, that's cool. I mean, I love blue cheese, and a lot of people hate blue cheese, but blue cheese is great. I love all kinds of cheeses. I find the hottest cheeses I can find and get those. Uh, we've had some Reaper cheese, we've had some Scorpion cheese, ghost pepper, of course. It's just not hot. Um, they even look at me weird whenever I'm going. Do you have any ghost pepper cheese or any hot cheese that you can throw on your Mexican dish? And they're like, what? Um, do you like Chef It Up? I don't watch a whole lot of reality TV, to be honest. Um, now the girlfriend, she likes certain ones. Now I like, I think it's on HBO Max. They have the like the Halloween competition or baking show or something like that. I like that one. We'll watch Gordon Ramsay stuff every now and again because the girlfriend's a big Gordon Ramsay fan, and we even ate at the Gordon Ramsay restaurant in Oklahoma City. Um, oh, I love cooking. I love to cook. Uh, use all kinds of spices. My cabinets are chock full of spices, and I love to make my own rubs when it comes to brisket or ribs or even chicken, pork and things like that. We make our own rubs out of multiple flavors, in the pantry, and so yeah. And I even, chop up these little guys into fine bits and cook it with it, you know, and with onions and stuff like that. Uh, the hotter the better. But you still want to taste your food. You don't want to be just like, oh my god, because there's a noodle dish, and it's in a noodle bowl that they created that was ghost pepper noodles. Basically, it's basically just ghost peppers everything, and it's just too much. I can eat it, but it's just too much. You can't taste the flavor of the food for how much. Yes, and that's why it's best to grow your own stuff, um, because you know what's in it. You don't have to worry about all the chemical stuff, especially if you use natural pesticides and things like that you can create at home um, from natural ingredients. Because that's why they say you plant these plants, these flowers with your vegetables, and it will keep bugs away. Like marigolds and all kinds of other stuff out there. I can't think of them right off the top of my head, but I've got a whole list of things that I put with my plants so that they don't get eaten by other animals, by other bugs. And there's natural deterrents for rabbits and deer and things like that you can plant that will keep them out of your garden area. So, but yeah, medicinal in foods is one of those things that a lot of people just take for granted because I'm going to the grocery store, I'm grabbing up all this stuff that's chemically enhanced and all this stuff, and I'm going to eat it. And so what's that doing to your body? Well, people lived a lot longer. You know, somebody got filtered. I'm not sure who. Some contents in this live were filtered to protect the community's experience. So unfortunately, we still have to watch what we say on certain things. That's why you have to say like schmooicide instead of the actual word. You have to say schmilled instead of the actual word. You have to say smurder instead of the actual word. You have to say schmirial, smiller instead of the actual, thing like Dexter. Um, banana instead of exactly. Um, because they're doo doo heads out there when it comes to TikTok. And I could have said the other word, Casey. So, you know, again, progression. Um, no, I haven't tried those yet. Now we do try a lot of different things. Like I said, the girlfriend, since she's a big Gordon Ramsay fan, we usually tend to lean towards his culinary stuff to try it out. And she's done some really good job with his stuff, and it tastes really good. Like I said, eating at his restaurant was good. Um, it's all a la carte, so you get your main meal, and then every side dish with it is a la carte. Meaning you have to order it separate from the main meal because your main meal is just your protein, whatever it is, your chicken, your your steak, whatever it is. That's the main thing. And then if you want asparagus or mashed potatoes or whatever, that's all extra. You know. But Guy Fieri's, he's got a bunch of stuff everywhere, different places. I think there's one up in Northwest Arkansas as well. Um, yeah, well, the mayo and sour cream can be adjusted for something else. If you don't like mayo or sour cream in something, try um, yogurt. Use yogurt instead of sour cream. Phenomenal. But I'm coming around to it. I like my eggs without it. I get you. But yeah, I used to put yogurt as my sour cream on my nachos and things like that. And once it's mixed with everything else, you can't tell that it's yogurt. So, and a lot of people are like, that's gross. Like no, it's healthier for you instead of everything that's in that, sour cream, especially if it's made by Campbell's now. But no. Um, but it's just like, if you can homegrown stuff, if you can home grow stuff like we do, our chickens, we get fresh eggs on a regular basis from our chickens, our ducks, and our geese. Um, excuse me. Then at that point in time, you know what's in your food. We haven't bought store bought eggs in what, almost 3 years now. I'll add some adobe chipotle peppers and lime juice to yogurt. That's cool. Let me adjust this right there. Put that right back over there. As the salsa or fish taco. See, that's cool. That's very cool. And it does taste better, especially when you add a little bit of heat. I'm not saying add, ghost peppers or Trinidad scorpions to your stuff, you know, because those are super hot. What is it? The Bonnie? That's not the name of it. The blue bonnet. It's a little red pepper about yay tall. It's got this little bonnet looking thing going around the edge, and then it drops down like an acorn underneath. Super hot pepper. You don't want to be adding that to a bunch of stuff. But, you know, take a little bit of like a habanero or a Carolina Reaper or a ghost pepper and chop it up nice and fine. Mix it, and saute it with your stuff. The Bonnie blue pepper, maybe, and I just know it's red. I've got it in the freezer right now. And just mix that up in there with your onions. Saute those up with your onion with a little bit of mushroom. Use a little bit of. I'm trying to think of what butter it is. There's a butter. The Irish butter is a really good one. It's expensive, but it's really good. It doesn't have all the as much fat in it, content as some of the other butters out, like your margarines and things like that, your spreads. And saute that all together. I mean, you can use olive oil and natural oils like that as well, especially if it's the first cold press dark bottle. Um, and at that point, you can get it in there, saute it all up, and then mix it in with your stuff like your tacos, like you're saying, your fish tacos, and which is healthier options. Now, stay away from tilapia as much as possible. Use a different kind of fish for your tacos. A white fish other than tilapia. I'm just saying because the tilapia nowadays are grown in a farm, so they are not fresh caught, um, like it says on the. I mean, they are fresh caught, but they're in a controlled environment. So go with your salmons and your trouts and things of that nature, or groupers, or those type of things. If you have those options in your area, even fresh swordfish or something like that. We just bought. We just about talked through every subject other than cars. 1957 Chevy Bel Air hardtop, ultimate dream. My dad had one in storage, but I never got to see it because his second ex-wife sold everything out of storage, and I was a little heartbroken once I found out that he had one restored in storage, and I never got to see it because he passed away back in '82. Um, and so I didn't get to see a lot of stuff because we were always getting picked up, and Here, how about some Hot Wheels? We'll talk Hot Wheels. This is the Gremlin right here. Serendipity, good name. You're always finding something new with that. Um, but yeah, if this one was in mint condition, nearly 300 bucks for this little Hot Wheel right here from my childhood. The Gremlin. I've got a few more over here from my childhood, like this little Roadster right here, right there for those of you up there. But yeah, and yeah, if it was still its chromed out version now, if it was the green version, which I guess was the variant version back in the day, or what they call treasure hunts now, or super treasure hunt. Uh, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Cruella Deville right here. Yeah, the coupe. What year was this one? This was called Auburn 1976, number 852 by Mattel Incorporated. And being 1976, it's not bad, you know, because this is something that I played with on a regular basis, you know. So and it's not rusted out, it's not, anything like that. There is some paint chips and things like that, but for the most part, it's still pretty pristine. I mean, you can see those little paint chips on there where it's been played with. So, but yeah, in my California Highway Patrol right there. Dun, dun, dun. Now, this one is not a Hot Wheel. It's made by somebody else. But here's two more Hot Wheels. This one in mint condition is like a $40 car. And it's from back in the. What year are you? Again, 1976. Right there. And then the Rescue. If I had the red one, it'd be worth a little more than the yellow one, unfortunately. But that's the one I had, was the yellow one. This one was 70 something as well. I think that says 79 on it. So a little closer to this time period, 1979. You know, uh, no, they definitely don't make them like they used to. The metals have changed. The paints have changed. Supposedly, the paint jobs of today are better than back then. Obviously, lead-based paint. That we used to lick off our walls. Entertainment purposes only. TikTok. Entertainment purposes only. Even the ones yeah, exactly. Because I had a 1975 Ford LTD. Um, I got that one in my senior year, so it was closer to 1990 when I got that vehicle, and it was an awesome car. 460 under the hood, dashboard read 160, which you very rarely see that in any car, especially produced now. It's like 120, 140 most of the time. This had a 160 speedometer, and I had it up to 140 one night. After prom, or not after prom, after graduation, when I was taking my cousin home back to Watonga from Bethany, Oklahoma. Hour and 45-minute drive. I would have had her there in 45 minutes if I didn't hit the big ass pothole in the middle of the road. And I watched my hubcap fly off of my tire and sit here idle with me, and then it went like a UFO. I stopped, looked for it, couldn't find it, obviously, because it was gone. I mean, that sucker was spinning. And I literally remember looking out my window after hitting that pothole, and there's my hubcap as it bounced off the road and was just sitting right there, and then it went like just flew, just kind of turned like a UFO and took off. Couldn't find it, you know. And so again, would have had her there in 45 minutes, but stopped to look for my hubcap and couldn't find it. But then it started falling apart, and I couldn't keep the money under the hood because I was a kid with a low end job as a sacker at a grocery store. I've traveled quite a few being in the military. Been to several of the states from one coast to the other. Now, there's certain coastal states that I haven't been to. I haven't been to California yet. Closest I've been is Colorado, in that area. Um, but I've been all the way up north, all the way to Minnesota. I've been to Maine for a short bit on my way to Afghanistan, and I've been to Germany, uh, Newfoundland, uh, Ireland, but only on a short hop on the way to Afghanistan yet again. So, are there places, continents, and countries that I want to go back to? Of course, there are. Ireland being one of them, Germany being one of them. You know, who has some of the best and worst cuisines that people wouldn't expect? That's a broad subject when it comes down to that. Just because everybody had, oh, in the States, oof. Again, broad subject because, like, if you go to Louisiana, you're going to find a ton of killer, authentic Cajun foods. Not the homogenized shit is the only word I can come up with. Like Ed Walk or not Ed Walker's. That's here. Walk-Ons, which is supposedly a Cajun restaurant by Drew Brees. Um, Horrible food. Um, so, in my opinion, because I have tasted authentic Louisiana cooking, um, red beans and rice, gumbo, gator tail. I mean, the list goes on and on. When we were in Katrina relief, when we were there in '05, and we got some home cooking from some of the Cajuns down there, and it was just phenomenal food, and it's completely different than what you get at the restaurants. Um, to have a home cooked meal by a Cajun, you know, and just phenomenal foods there. When you go up to like Minnesota, you got to say it like that. You can't just say Minnesota. Sorry, that's just so boring. It's Minnesota, and eh. I'm trying to think of some of the cuisines up there that we had, but we had some really good uh, restaurant food from that was made by the locals there that had their own restaurants. It was a mom and pop shops, and that's where I would tell you to go if you're going to go anywhere in a state. Go to a mom and pop shop. Don't go to your typical restaurants that you're going to find. Um, okay, no a Casey, you're in Maine. You got fresh seafood up there. What's some of your authentic flavors up there that you would recommend to someone? Um, what's one of your local spots up there that you would recommend? That's like a mom and pop shop. They say Minnesota people are some of the nicest until you're on a tube and they're driving the boat. No, they're very cool up there. Um, uh, Again, we were helping train troops when we were going from state to state, and Minnesota was a cool state. I can't lie. I mean, one day it's bright and sunny, and the next day there's snow on the ground. And lots love lobsters. Yes, absolutely. Love the clam chowder. Yeah, the New England clam chowder, which would be the main clam chowder there. So many fish and chips places. Okay, cool. And I can understand that because like when I was in Hawaii, we ate at the most authentic places we could find. And I can't tell you what the local dish was called or anything like that because that was back in uh, 2008 when I was there. And we ate at the local spots. We would talk to the locals there, and they're like, "You got to go here, you got to go here, you got to try this place, you got to try this place," and it was all local spots. Like most of them were food trucks, and then like Pier 64, one of the last spots we hit, right on the pier, before we got to the airport, and fresh seafood right off the boat. So whatever the catch of the day was that they had extra of, that little restaurant got it right. That pier restaurant got it, and like it was swordfish was the meal of the day, and I got that phenomenal fresh seafood, fresh swordfish or yeah, swordfish, and it was cheaper than buying it in the middle of town, which was only 15 miles away. You know, and because Oahu isn't a huge island, 60 by 80, I believe, miles. fish and wild game places. Oh man, that's lots of steak and lobster. Yeah, surf and turf. So see, Casey can hook you up in Maine with some of the places to eat at. There. Um, just like you're in Texas, right? And if that's the case there, then you could hook us up with some local cuisine places there. Just like here, there's some good mom and pop places here in Fort Smith, Arkansas area, including going over to Van Buren or Greenwood or things like that. Just go hunting exactly. The shrimp is so cheap down there in Galveston, but then again, I wonder why. Because they're probably mining it in a Bitcoin mine somewhere. No, I'm just kidding. They've got them in little aquariums and they're breeding them. That's why they're so cheap. Yes, 38.3 thousand likes. You know, and I appreciate the likes, the shares, the follows, the gifts, all those fun little things that come in because all of the gifts, the money that comes in off of this goes back into the printing process, um, and helping go to comic book conventions and things like that, which I'm hoping to get back into once 2026 rolls around. Um, and I'm a little behind on what I need to be doing because of some setbacks that I've had throughout this year, and that's on me. I'll get where I need to be. And yes, Texas food is great here. Um, the barbecue phenomenal in Texas. You can't go wrong there. And Casey, yes, is from Oklahoma City as well, but he's a world traveler. Um, he's got experience when it comes to traveling, you know, and I don't think you would have it any other way, would you, Casey? I mean, now I don't know if you would want to move back to Oklahoma City from the beautiful scenery of Maine, even though it's colder up there. Because right now it's 44 degrees here. We're expected to start getting into the 20s, and yeah, see, OKC does have a really good river walk, and they're adding to it all the time. Um, and especially now that they've got a championship caliber team there in Oklahoma City that just won their 11th straight game, I think it is, and they're 19-1 on the season. Um, After beating a really good team last night, and yes, they actually are building a new arena. Yes, 100%. Because they need to. That sucker is so old. Uh, oh, look who decided to wake up, Mr. Roy Joe Bradley Jr. You know, after I told you he wouldn't be here at the beginning of the show, and we're about to end the show, and here he is. Surprise! Surprise! And we were talking about your favorite team right here, Roy, the Oklahoma City Sooners, and earlier on in the broadcast, since you weren't here. And it's Oklahoma City does have its charm, but it's not a place I would want to live again. I'm still trying to move to Alaska. Call me crazy, I know, but I would love to live in Alaska, to completely be self-sufficient, living off the land, doing the whole barter system, all that good stuff. And did you watch the game? Went to OU his freshman year, and yes, sir, my favorite team, bub. There you go. Finished at UTA. Well, that's cool. I mean, they kicked our ass in football, as they do. It's one way or the other. It's very rarely that it's a close game, uh, whenever they play each other. And this year they got the upper hand on us for whatever reason, especially since we're beating all these top ranked teams, you know, and Texas wasn't even ranked at the time. So, but but like I said, it is what it is. And the Dallas Cowboys are turning their season around. They could actually win out. You know, uh, I think their toughest test is probably going to be the Lions coming up this next week. And so it's not too early for me. I've been up since 2 a.m. And I even told you that you would be asleep for most of this show, or maybe not even make it. I'm getting tired of go bed. I've enjoyed this 6-5-1 team more than the 12-5. Yeah, exactly. And especially with the additions. I hated seeing Micah Parsons leave. Absolutely, 100%. But with the additions that we picked up and they're healthy now, yes, they won Thanksgiving and they beat the Chiefs here just the other day. I mean, that was the Thanksgiving Day game, was the Chiefs. We beat the Eagles and the Chiefs within a 5-day game span. Actually, 4 days, but um, two Super Bowl champions in the last Super Bowl that were vying for the Super Bowl championship, you know? And so on that note, we beat them both. And the Raiders intend exactly. And everybody's like, "Oh, it was just the Raiders, the worst, one of the worst teams in the league." No, the Raiders have a really good defense, you know. And I'm sorry that you don't see that. And but they do have a good defense. They've got some key players in defense that could have stopped a lot of things, you know. And if we go on to beat the Lions, if we beat the Lions, the slate is clean after that because we can beat the rest of them. We've already proven in a shootout we can beat the Giants because they do have some good weapons on offense. Um, Washington is from a Super Bowl contender to bottom of the barrel for some reason. I don't understand. We've already beaten them once. We're going to sweep them. Um, it's going to go one of two ways. Just like the Lions and whoever played. Oh, was it the Lions and the Eagles? And the Eagles beat the Lions? Um, no. No, Eagles just played last night and they got their butts handed to them. So who did the Lions play here just recently? Um, I can't even tell you who they played. But anyway, and the Lions lost, you know. So I have a feeling that we can. Oh, it was the Green Bay. That's right. Uh, I feel like we can beat them. Especially with our additions: Quinnen Williams, Logan Wilson, Siobhan Rebel if he's back healthy for this game. Because I'm sorry, Trayvon Diggs can be traded. I don't care. I said what I said. Um, and we have the key components. If we keep the pressure on Goff, he's done. Just like Mahomes, we had the pressure going. Um, Now we can't be playing that soft zone shit. We need to have a tighter zone with some spies in there because we're keeping our middle open way too much. You know, and that's where we fall into, you know, getting huge chunks of yardage against us. And if they can tighten that up and get the people where they're supposed to be and stay, we're going to have a dangerous defense. And it's already turned around ever since the bye week. Again, with the addition of Williams and getting some of our starters back healthy. But again, Trayvon Diggs, send him packing. I don't care. He hasn't looked the same since he came back from injury. And they keep saying, well, he's still trying to rehab that foot, that ankle or whatever. And it's just like, well, then why is he playing if he's still trying to rehab? You know? Exactly. And that's on both sides of the fence now. Malik Davis is a great addition behind uh, Javonte Williams. Luke great fullback, heavy hitter. Reminds me of Moose Johnson back in the day. Um, you've got two wide receiver ones, Pickens and CD. Yes, Agent Zero, phenomenal player. I hate when he gets hurt, and I'm glad he was completely healthy. This last game, and because when he's fully healthy, phenomenal freak player. And that's why we drafted him. Unfortunately, he ended up getting hurt. And we lost him for 2 seasons back to back, basically. But I'm glad he's back, and it shows. It makes a difference. Whenever you got your healthy starters back, it makes a difference, and people just don't understand that because we had 20, what was it, 20 starters out to start the season, and you saw what happened. You know, now we're 6 and 5 and 1, and we shouldn't have that tie. I hate that the NFL lets games end in a tie. College doesn't do that, so why should the NFL? It makes no sense to me. So, and the way Philadelphia keeps falling, losing their games here recently, two back-to-back losses. Is that right? And see, I don't know because you're always hearing about. Yes, the NFL is not fully logical 100%, and it's thanks to Roger Goodell on that one. But it also boils down to uh, the fact that the betting line, like you said, the money lines. Um, because that's why you see some players that are injured come back into the game because they have to play that quarter or whatever so that the money lines can pay out. It's like when CD went back into the game and they were like, why is he in the game when he's limping around and hurt? Well, it was because of the money factor on the betting side of it all. And then you saw it happen with somebody else that shouldn't have been back in the game. It was a quarterback, I think, and they threw him back in the game, and he was not himself, but he had to play those downs so that they could get that betting line in. And it's happened, and you see it all over the NFL and other sports as well. Um, yes, Roy, in the four, we that's what we were talking about prior to you showing up to the show. Uh, both teams that played in the past Super Bowl, yes. We love you, Roy. Whoops. We love you, Roy. I'm just listening because I was possibly hearing one of the pigs. And if it is, it's Bit, Bacon Bit, who screams a lot. Yes, our pigs sleep inside for now. The NFL's LLC is registered as entertain. Well, yeah, yeah, and that's the stupid thing, is that it because I mean it is entertainment, but this is people's lives we're talking about here. We're not talking about just the bottom dollar, although they get paid way too much. There needs to be a cap on how much each position gets. Let's just go there right off the bat. Just like with Caitlin Clark, the dude, being put back in the game too early. Well, yeah, I mean it's a money thing when it comes to guys and women's sports. But anyway, um, sorry, Roy. I have to get that jab in there. um, which makes me think about situations like Neelan. Exactly, because unfortunately, and I can't say certain keywords, um, but mental health awareness, which is what's up on my other screen up here. That's my recording happening that goes to Facebook and YouTube and all that good stuff. There's a 988 number that if you do need to talk to somebody, please do. You can even talk to me. Um, you can always DM me if you're having issues because I have my own mental issues. Being PTSD from the military and all that good stuff, and life traumas. You know, um, people need to know about them. Uh, that's a good question. That's a good question, Casey. Did you watch the game? Are you a sports commentator? Do you have your own live show that you talk about sports on a regular basis? It would be a dream of mine. Remember, he's in his 20s. He could have his own sports show. Are you a gamer? Do you game? Do you have a Twitch stream? Those are the questions people want to ask you. But if you follow, I will follow back. You know, low key, not really. LOL. Which means he does, but he might not be a complete streamer when it comes to that. if I'm reading between that low key line right there. See, my girlfriend could be a Twitch gamer, streamer thing, and all that good stuff if she wanted to. And you mean exacto knife? But yeah, no, I get you, man. Um, but no, it's just everything's about money anymore, and that's the sad state of things. That's why you get so many people, flocking to TikTok and wanting to open up their little um, check out my future shop or whatever. It's because they're making money off of that. You're getting some people that are making like 100K a month, just by promoting. Well, look, this is my Roku remote that I got off of the TikTok shop. You too can get this, and it can do so many functions. You've got the Netflix button, you've got the Disney Plus button, you've got the Apple TV button on here. Plus, you've got the Discovery Plus button. If you hit any of those, it's going to take you directly into what you're wanting to watch. Plus, it's got the rewind, it's got the caption button, it's got your play, rewind, pause, and fast forward right here, all in one convenient little place. So, when you're here and you hit the home button on your Roku remote, it will take you to the home page that has all of your apps lined up. No, I'm not a spokesperson for Roku. Have you ever done live battles? I'd rather gift to someone who's educated or entertaining like you. Well, I appreciate that. I have not done live battles before. Um, you know, very rarely do I actually bring anybody else on the show, as a guest, anything like that. Now at Oklahoma Discount Furniture, it's just like right here in Fort Smith area or the Arkansas area. Bring Grove Furniture, the best seats in the house. And now at Oklahoma Discount Furniture. Yes, all those good taglines that you have grown up with throughout the years. Um, yes, call 1-800. Just $5.99 a minute, and we can take care of all of your dreams and fantasies. But please say your name first, so that we can get you recording whenever you say whenever your wife catches you on that bill. What is this for? Well, I don't know. Well, let's call this number and find out. Well, let's not. Hey, Monty, did you hear you say go Oklahoma? I say again, go Oklahoma today. Yes. Go OU. Yes, 100%. Yeah. It's 1 o'clock. Do you know where your rug rats are? Absolutely. You know, it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are? Most parents are like, I seriously hope they're in bed, especially back in that day. But we probably weren't. We were probably out in the yard somewhere playing with our Hot Wheels, digging tunnels, and all that other good stuff. Yeah. And this concludes our broadcast channel. All that good stuff. And did you watch the game? Says, been a pleasure. Enjoyed the conversations. We just about covered it all. Absolutely 100%. You know, and then there's always the music aspect that Casey can cover on that one because he has met Elvis, which is pretty awesome, cool, and entertaining in and of itself. Um, but then you've got all kinds of different sides. You've got the techie side of things, SD cards with the mini SD card on the inside, those type things. What's your favorite computer brand? All that good stuff. And, I can talk about a lot of different things. Like I said, like I've told Casey, and Casey knows that I know a little about a lot. I don't know everything about everything, absolutely. But I do know a little about a lot, and I appreciate it. Like I said, if you like, share, and follow, I'll do the same with your stuff as well. And if you do have a live show, I will try to hit it as well. But I do appreciate the gifts, like I said, because that does help us get back into things. That Casey, you met Elvis, the king of rock and roll? Yes. Yes, that Casey. Walked in with his viola in hand. And he said, hello, Mr. Presley. And he was like, no, no, mama. No, no, mama. Just call me Elvis. But no. Even though we know some history about Elvis that isn't very keen or cool, but he is still the king of rock and roll, you know. 6 times Casey spent with him at Graceland. At Racelandy. I like that. Racelandy. I know it's supposed to be Graceland, but that's awesome. You met Elvis. I should be posting some of the people that I used to escort when I worked for Walmart. As asset protection. That would blow some of your minds. Rod Stewart, Katy Perry. Can't spell awesome. Well, you just did. So how can you not spell awesome? 75 to death. I knew him. Consider I was a kid. Yeah, a kid in your 20s. Yeah, yeah. Nah, you know, he just like a lot of people get bad raps for different things. 10 to 13. Okay, so you were a kid. Okay, yeah. Well, maybe that's why he wanted you to call him Elvis. You hunka hunka burning love. Excuse me, still waking up, buddy. See, I told you would be asleep. Uh, no, why you lying, man? Why you lying? And then an hour plus in, hey everybody, look at me. Here I am. I'm drinking my Dr. Pepper with a pixie straw. Blue shirt, black pants. Them skin tight mama pants. Because he started eating them peanut butter and nana sandwiches. He was pretty for a man. I mean, I get that. No, I said I wouldn't be here at all, so here I am. See, and I said that, and you were like, "No, I'll be there." You're lying. You're lying. Why are you lying? And you came on towards the end of the show, so you weren't here at the beginning of the show when it all kicked off, when it was all spectacular and new. Better late than never. Is that a barbecue saying for a certain team out there that is here in Arkansas? Ah, just giving you a hard time. Look, I'm here, okay. Yes, and we appreciate you being here, Roy. We love having you here because things get brighter and cheerier when you're here. Absolutely, 100%. So, did you all have a good Thanksgiving? And do you ever just get tired, you know, of things that the world throws at you, and things that the TV throws at you? If so, get yourself a V8 peach mango and wake the F up. Or a coffee in your case, Casey. Uh, we'll let you slide with your coffee. Because I don't like coffee. Never have. My grandparents tried to get me to drink it. They could drink coffee all day long. I just couldn't understand it. I've tried it, and all right then. And I just don't get coffee. I mean, I don't. It's just like people that love the taste of tea. I don't understand that either. I just don't get it. That's not my flavor forte, I guess. And my parents tried, my grandparents tried, and I'm just like, no, it just tastes too funky on the aftertaste. It's gross. I mean, I can drink a cappuccino and things like that, but it's very rare that I do. Um, but again, that's not coffee. The black coffee that everybody talks about loving so much. And I mean, I get it. To each their own, because everybody has their own flavor differences. Exactly, exactly. More for you and the girlfriend. She loves her coffee too, but she has to add her stuff into it. Every now and again, she'll drink it black, but she likes her sugar and her cream in it. You know, I'm glad you don't. And it's just like a lot of things that we were supposed to do as kids growing up. You know, get on cigarettes. Those type things, and I tried those and thought I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna puke my guts up. My sister and I snuck my stepdad's smokes from the car, and we got busted. As we were trying to put them back. And we went between where our house was, there was an apartment complex that had a shed next to it, and in between the shed was a space. And we went in there, lit them up, and took a drag off of it. And we both thought we were gonna puke our guts up. Thought we were toast at that point in time. So we put it out, stomped it out, and then we're in the process of putting it back in the glove compartment. And my mom opens up the window for some reason. I guess she heard the car door or something like that. And we got busted. We got our butts beat, for that. So 1976 was an amazing year. Had to be there. Well, I was 5 years old in '76. You know, I think it was probably around 77, 78, somewhere in that time frame that we did that. So 7, 8 years old, somewhere in that range. I was. Now my sister was older, you know, by a few years. She's 65, baby, and I was a 71, baby. And so yeah, my brother was 63 or 64 was his date of birth, somewhere in there. I suck at birthdays. That's why I have a little note card with everybody's birthday on it. Or the ancestry tree. I can go, hey, whose birthday's coming up next? But no, this has been a great show today. To be honest, I mean, 100%. They're all great shows because Casey's here, Roy's here, and yes, we are at straight up 50K thousand likes, which puts us in the popular live category with that. So I appreciate each and everybody and all the gifts that have come through. That is pretty awesome. And well, I try to make them enjoyable and entertaining as much as possible. I mean, like I said, I know we get into some serious stuff on a regular basis. Well, not on a regular basis. We get into some more serious shows on certain times because it has to be done, you know. And we appreciate you as well, my friend. Well, I appreciate that. I really do. Because I know a lot of people don't like me and I don't care. Um, it's just like the haters that try to come on here and disrupt the show in some form, fashion, or another. And then they get blocked and reported and all that good stuff. And then I got to figure out this whole restriction BS that's going on every time I say something that I don't even know what I said this time because I wasn't trying to direct anybody outside, of the TikTok shops. You know, you make it worthwhile and awesome as of yourself, buddy. They can keep on keeping on. We will hang with you. I appreciate it. And, that's where it's called, what is it? The tribe. You fall into your tribe. You fall into the people that you vibe with, you know. Your live stream is great. My favorite one out there, Monty. Well, I appreciate that, Roy. I know you watch several, and I know a lot of other people watch a ton as well. And we get a few people to stick around and check out the channel to see what we're about. And then we get some that just lurk in the shadows, and you know, and it's fine. If you don't want to speak up or talk, that's cool. If you're here for the entertainment purposes, hopefully we're a little entertaining. And hopefully you enjoy the artwork that you do see flash across the screen from time to time, like now. And here in a little bit, I'll see what these recordings hold as well. We have some with nobody. We have some with nobody. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Sling blade. Get you some sling blade in your life. So, what are you guys doing today? What's on your agenda? Roy will be going to bed. Casey, you might take a nap, but you might be up to do some music. I don't know which one you're going to do yet. Me, I'm up for the rest of the day. I'll be watching OU later on, beat LSU. Let's see what else is going on. That's pretty much it. Oh, Roy's already ducking out. What time is OU? That's a good question. I think they're at 2:30, but it could be 11. I don't know yet. I will tell you here in just 1 second. Once my computer decides it wants to link out. Somebody out there already probably has the answer to this, but 2:30. I was correct. What channel can we watch it on? I don't know. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know what channel it's on. But I think this is the last game of the season before they go into their college bowl stuff. So I think we're good. Both of our teams start at the same time. You have two Oklahoma teams in this? You talking about Oklahoma State and Oklahoma? Or are you talking about Tulsa and Oklahoma? I'm not sure which. Is you number one OU fan? Yes, Roy is the number one OU fan. If you haven't seen some of my Facebook posts and or other posts with the OU that he paints on his face, you know, um, what is this? Oh, this is their entire schedule. What the heck? See, he hates the Razorbacks. He can't even spell them right. He hates anything in Arkansas. So there you go. Bum, bum, bum. He's waking up. He feels it in his bones. Yeah, I don't know what channel it's on, but I'll figure that out later. Doesn't matter. It's 2:30, so that's way in the afternoon. All right, guys, we've been on for almost 2 hours. That was a sustained note of A. Well, I appreciate that. I can sustain notes sometimes. I can draw them too. That's pretty cool. Now it's a pretty awesome, you know, the thing out there that we have so many OU fans here today with us. Roy being the biggest OU fan, and I know Casey uh, is a is Oklahoma Sooner fan over Oklahoma State. Stick to drawing them. No, not a chance. I think that was a dig at me. I can't believe there would be a dig at me over musical notes. Ah. Oh goodness gracious. Heavens to Murgatroyds. All right, folks, we are going to kill it for today. But I do appreciate each and every one of here. Not a deep OE, just revenge for the damage. The ear trauma. I've got ear trauma thanks to you now. Thanks to you, Harry Potter. But all right, guys, we will kill it for today. I got lots of stuff on the plate. I got some colorization to get started. I've got some other things like that. And indubitably, 100% indubitably. And so, but I do appreciate each and everybody being here and the commentary and everything else that's happened, all the comments, all the talking. You know, it's been a great show. 100%. If we can get more interaction like that on a regular basis, that would be super awesome. Now I know we get it from Casey and we get it from Roy, but we had a new entertainment piece in there as well. Someone else was talking as well, so that's pretty awesome. You know, so those of you watching in the background up here in this little section right up here, right there, You guys can talk too at any point in time. But as I like to say as I leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.